Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Florida.
Downtown Miami tonight. The Marlins are home. The Braves are here. This three-game series is wrapping up. And the Marlins would like to get a win out of this series before Atlanta leaves town. So far, runs have been hard to come by for the pitch. Omar Infante, Martin Prado, Angel Ramirez. The red-orange is out tonight. Mark Burley ready to rock and roll as the Marlins and the Braves tangle tonight. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. Baseball is an interesting sport. The Marlins came riding into town 2 nights ago with a share of first place, a ton of momentum, and 2 nights later they've scored a total of 1 run, and they're knocked out of first place 2 games back.
It's a crazy game. It's a frustrating game. After the last 2 wins in Philadelphia, everything seemed to be clicking quite nicely, and all of a sudden the Braves came to town. The Marlins have seen some terrific pitching. Of course, Tim Hudson with a complete game shutout. And last night it was Randall Delgado who had tremendous stuff. But if you look at the 2-game series, boy, the batting average, 7 for 59, only 1 extra base hit. That was a Giancarlo Stanton double. They've had a few opportunities. They have hit some balls hard. Even Hudson himself said the other night he had a little luck in that game, but not too much has fallen in the right spot right now. So the Marlins looking to shape up the offense, get some key base hits, and take care of business against the left-hander Mike Minor.
Now, that storyline was true when Mark Burley was pitching early in the season, but the Marlins have started to score runs for him, especially when he faced Minor and the Braves in Atlanta. He beat him 8-4.
Yeah, Mark Burley came out on top in that outing. The lefty, Mike Minor, the 24-year-old, he was the loser. So you know when Burley's out there, you're going to get a little bit of everything. You're going to get some great defense. You're going to get a guy who goes after hitters. He doesn't walk many. He hates to do that. He'll help himself with a kick save. He may even get himself a base hit. But we know one thing. Mark Burley's going to go out there and compete as hard as anyone in any game he pitches.
And Burley usually does it pretty quickly. So strap in, get ready to go. The Marlins and the Braves in Game 3 of this series. Last night, a key moment. It could have been a turning point. We'll examine and discuss when we return. At the Fish and the Braves. Let's start it with Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine. Gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Rich. Key play in the game. Last night, the Braves scored 2 runs in the 4th inning. Kind of a wacky play that you don't see quite a lot of. It did cause an injury, too. Freddie Freeman wound up leaving the game. We'll show it to you in the 4th inning. And, Nider, tell us what you saw here in this play.
Yeah, it's a very odd play. You hardly ever see it. Jason Hayward, ground ball to Omar Infante. Jose Reyes on the relay to first base hits Freddie Freeman in the hand as he's going down to slide. Arm slot right there. The hand goes up for Freddie Freeman as he's sliding. Not intentionally. I mean, he's not trying to stop the ball with his hand, that's for sure. And comes out of the game now. Dan Uggla scores, and everyone thinks, all right, the Braves got a score to run there. But no, it's a dead ball.
Yep.
Uggla has to come out of the dugout and go back to third base.
Now, here's the rule. Rule B here, 709B. The runner is out when he intentionally interferes with a thrown ball, which, by the way, although you disagreed, that's what Adrian Johnson, the umpire, ruled. He said it was intentional. So that's the first part of it. Runner is out, intentional interference. Although Freddie Gonzalez agreed with you, Jeff. He said, I didn't think it was intentional or obvious. It was just what you taught. So that was the difference of opinion, Braves and umpire. Now, the runner, as a judge, have hindered the fielder attempting to make that play is out. And then the last part is what causes the other guy to be out. If he rules the hindrance intentional, then with less than 2 out, which was the case, the umpire declared both the runner and the batter out. The crew chief, Gary Cederstrom, told me today when I talked to him, he said it's either interference or not, and it was ruled clearly that it was intentional. If not intentional, just hit him, and then the ball would have been a line ball as well. If they hit him, let's say, in the gut, in the depth to slide. All right, that's the story on that. We're ready for baseball here in the finale of this 3-game series. Mark Burley taking on Atlanta. Ball game coming up.
Pinch a Penny brings you the first pitch. Mark Burley delivers it, and it's fouled off the arm of Marlins catcher Brett Hayes. The count's 0-1. Burley making start number 12. He already has 10 decisions, 5-5, with an ERA of about 3.5 at 3.53. Red-orange caps and sleeves for the Fish. Burley misses out with fielding Colbreth calling balls and strikes tonight.
I think the Marlins trying to shake things up a little bit with the red-orange. After losing a series for the first time in quite some time at the last series in April against Arizona.
Went the whole month of May without losing a series. Opened June by winning 2 of 3 against the Phillies. And Ozzie Guillen's team has come in here to Marlins Park against the Braves and struggled to generate any kind of offense against Atlanta. Just a run and 7 hits.
in the first 2 games combined. And add to that, the Marlins have drawn only 4 walks in this series. Burley working quickly as always. 3-2 pitch, shot foul towards the third base camera well. You saw John Tuitu, one of the best athletes on the crew, moving quickly to his right.
Always, I think, finishes in the top 3 of cameraman Olympics.
Yeah, his range factor huge. That one's in. Burley walks the leadoff man, Michael Bourne. Just the 12th walk for Burley, and of course this is start number 12 on the season. Here come the Braves. Michael Bourne, Martin Prado, Brian McCann, Dan Ugla, Matt Diaz is out in left. Jason Hayward is in right. Freddie Freeman's out with that sore finger. It's not broken, but Eric Hinsky plays first. Andrelton Simmons has been outstanding defensively and with the bat in this series. Mike Minor will hit ninth.
This will be a great matchup with Bourne, the speedster, at first base against the terrific move of Mark Burley.
Burley combines not only a terrific move, but also a very quick motion to the plate. So it's kind of double jeopardy for a base stealer. And Bourne is one of the best in all of baseball. There's no question about that.
Last 4 years, Michael Bourne has averaged 54 stolen bases a year. He has 15 this year.
And he was a guy much like Emilio Bonifacio. His first couple of years in the major leagues, everyone said if he ever figures out how to hit and how to get on base, he's going to be a great player. And he has figured it out. You saw him going back to first as Burley came to the plate. But Burley hasn't thrown a strike to Martin Prado yet. It's 2-0. Catches the corner, gets a strike. Fox tracks showing you that that one was barely on the black, if at all.
Burley would like to get that pitch all night. Of course, and again, so would Mike Minor.
Mark Burley, you talk about the pitches that he throws, that changeup, he has thrown in Major League Baseball the highest percentage of changeups so far this season. Got him picked off. Morrison, the throw down to Reyes, and he'll tag Bourne out.
Well, that's a fabulous weapon when you're Mark Burley and you have that ace pickoff move and you have a guy like Bourne at first base. I'm sure Bourne was just guessing and going on first movement. But give credit to Logan Morrison. He steps inside, makes a perfect throw to Reyes, and it took a perfect throw to just get the speedy Michael Bourne.
Back to Prado at the plate, and he fouls off a pitch. Another changeup from Burley, and the count evens at 2-2. You can see Prado muttering to himself, why did I swing at a changeup that was a foot outside?
No, I'm better than that. Why did I swing at that?
He is good. Prado goes after a high fastball. Stanton comes in, and Giancarlo makes the catch. So, despite a leadoff walk, Mark Burley's got 2 outs, and he goes up against Brian McCann now.
But it's a thing that Mark Burley does so well, and we've seen it getting the chance to watch him every start. Not overpowering, but after that changeup that Prado chased, then he ran his 85-mile-an-hour fastball in on him to get the fly ball out.
McCann takes a breaking ball for a strike. Big night last night, 3 hits for McCann. Single, double, single to open the game. The Braves got a couple of runs in the 4th, and that was enough in a 2-1 win. Game 1 of this series, Atlanta smashed the Marlins 11-0.
Kind of the way the Dodgers smashed the Phillies up in Philadelphia.
Check swing. Did he go? No swing. Hayes retrieved the ball anyways. That's Lance Barksdale, who worked home plate last night. And so the count's 2-2.
Yeah, the Dodgers sweeping a 4-game series in Philly. Of course, the Phillies lost the 2 games against the Marlins, so 6 consecutive losses.
2-2. Burley just missed inside. And the count full on the Braves catcher, Brian McCann. Dan Uggla's on deck. 3-2 coming from Burley. Pulls it back to the screen. The Marlins came back after taking 2 of 3 themselves from the Phillies with a piece of first place. The Braves behind them, but Atlanta's 2 wins to open this series. The Marlins and the Braves find themselves now a game and a half back of Washington. That's Ruggiano out there tonight, and he makes the catch. Burley's through the first. Marlins get their first swings when we return. Sports Florida is brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer today for great deals on an amazing lineup of Toyota vehicles. Toyota, moving forward. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by Papa John's. Right now at Papa John's, get any large pizza, even specialties, for only $12. Scoreless ball game. That is Mike Minor, 24-year-old out of Chapel Hill, Tennessee, and a first-round pick out of Vanderbilt, the 7th overall pick in 2009.
Young man who at one time was in the rotation at Vanderbilt with David Price. David Price pitching tonight against the Yankees. Has a little bit of all 4 pitches. His fastball will reach 92, but he's usually high 80s, low 90s.
It has not been the best of seasons for Minor. Fires in a fastball for a strike. Marlins got to him in Atlanta. He's made 4 starts against the Fish, is 0-1, and his ERA is over 7.5. Did Reyes go? Yes, says Adrian Johnson.
Yeah, the one thing you always hate to bring up horrific stats, because you know a big leaguer sooner or later is going to put it together. But since Minor's last win, that was on April 19th, his ERA has been over 9 in 7 starts.
Reyes slices one to right. Hayward jogs in and makes the catch. Marlins lineup looks this way. Unchanged 1 through 4 with Reyes, Infante, Hanley, Giancarlo Stanton. Justin Ruggiano getting the start in center and elevated to the 5 spot. Logan Morrison sliding back into the 6th position. Donovan Solano getting a start in left. The right-handed bats are out against the lefty. Brett Hayes hits 8th and Burley 9th. And here is Infante, who takes inside. Infante just 1 for 8 in this series, and his average has kind of melted down to 303, just over the 300 mark. In the month of April, when the Marlins were not playing well, Infante was the one constant offensively, spraying line drives all over the place. And he had a pretty good May as well, but near the 3rd week of May, the RBI started to dry up. He's 3-0 now against Mike Minor.
Yeah, we talked about it the other night. The last RBI for Omar Infante was May 18th.
You see Hanley Ramirez on deck. Minor to the plate. Fastball right down the middle.
You know, there's a guy that we'll probably talk about, Rich, a little bit tonight, who's not in the lineup, who had a big base hit against Minor in Atlanta. There are the numbers on Infante that we were talking about.
And there's a line drive into left field.
And that's a good sign. But Austin Kearns had a big double against Minor, drove in a couple of runs early in that game.
You said it last night, the Braves are a good defensive team.
There it is. Matt Diaz, Michael Bourne, Jason Hayward, Prado, and Simmons. Simmons has really impressed the two of us up here. Ugla and Hinsky. Hinsky starting at first with the injury to Freeman. Brian McCann behind the plate again.
Brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida. So the Marlins have a runner at first. And let's see if they have a little more success than the Braves had when they got a runner aboard here in this first inning. Hanley Ramirez digs in, an 0-for-7 series so far. But Hanley had a lot of company in the frustration of last night. The Marlins getting just 2 hits and just a 1 run. Minor misses outside.
It's almost like good news, bad news when you're over. You don't want to be the only guy that's over, but you also don't want to have a lot of company.
Minor ready. And a throw to first. You mentioned his struggles, and he was struggling so badly that he was scheduled to pitch, and the rainout in Washington, D.C. allowed Freddie Gonzalez to actually skip his turn in the rotation. His ERA in the month of May, he gave up 28 runs, 9.95. Can crouching in. Minor hits the target, but it's inside.
You know, and speaking of rotations, read something, you and I were talking about it, I think a couple of days ago. The Marlins are one of 4 teams that have used only 5 starters the entire season.
Yeah, the odds are that a major league team is going to have to dip either into the minor leagues or get a spot start from a middle reliever at some point during the first 2 or 3 months of the season, let alone have 5 or 6 guys. The Marlins themselves have had years where they've had 9, 10, 11 guys make starts because of injuries and ineffectiveness. That's a strike. Hanley had started towards first.
Now, this is a situation at times, especially with Giancarlo on deck, who's 2 for 3 against Minor with 2 home runs. This is a situation where Hanley has to use his head, pick out a spot, have a good swing at a good pitch.
With a 3-1 count, might Omar Infante be on the move? It's tough with a lefty.
It's possible. It's a little tougher with a lefty. You certainly don't want to run yourself out of a chance to get Giancarlo to the plate.
That changes a lot of managers' thinking, doesn't it? Having a weapon in the cleanup spot. Hanley takes and is on his way to first. You mentioned Stanton against Minor. Here's the physical proof. I mean, these were tape measure shots. When you hear the oohs and ahs in the crowd and you go up near Paul Warfield land, this was in mid-September, and then hit one in the blue seats out in left center. That's impressive stuff. And they meet here again in Marlins Park. Stanton did not homer against him in the Minor start, though Stanton did homer in that game. It was after Minor had left the ball game.
Yeah, he hit it off Christian Martinez.
Good speed out there. Infante at second.
Food for thought, by the way, threw Hanley a 3-1 changeup. And trying to pitch Stanton inside, he's missed twice.
Freddie Gonzalez, you can see the angst on his face already. This has been a familiar sight with Minor on the mound. And Stanton steps out. For a 22-year-old, Giancarlo Stanton, in counts like this, 2-0, 3-1, you were talking about Hanley Ramirez needing to get a good pitch to drive. Stanton shows that he's a little more mature than his age.
Absolutely, and contrary to some of the others around him, Stanton this year hitting .298 with runners in scoring position.
Well, he's locked and loaded here with a 2-0 count. And he goes after it and loops it into right field. Hayward has some momentum behind him, and that keeps Infante at second.
Just got in on him. Not a real good attack, aggressive attack at a 2-0 pitch. Let's check on the scouting report for Mike Minor, brought to you by Coventry Healthcare. There it is. He mixes things up. He'll use all 4 pitches. The changeup's a good one for him. He has confidence with all 4. And a pretty good move. He'll mix it up. He'll use that snap throw, or he'll lift the leg and throw over to first base that way.
Justin Ruggiano, in limited time, the Marlins have liked what they've seen from Ruggiano. He was having a terrific year with the Astros AAA affiliate in Oklahoma City. The Marlins, when Kearns went down, needed a right-handed bat. They also were looking for someone that could play center field, and that's where Ruggiano is tonight.
Well, this sure isn't one of those things you map out in spring training. You're thinking, well, here we are at June 7th. We have Justin Ruggiano batting behind Giancarlo Stanton.
325 in Oklahoma City, 13 doubles, 5 homers.
But I think he's earned this opportunity. Ozzy's talked about that. He's earned it with some good at-bats, some base hits, some good swings.
Morrison is on deck. It's 3-0 to Ruggiano. Been a long first inning for Mike Minor. Pitch number 20. At the knees. And let's see what Ruggiano gets here.
Yeah, 20 pitches, and more have been balls than strikes.
Ruggiano calls timeout. Texas A&M product. Steps out.
Let's see, you get Texas A&M against Vanderbilt in this matchup.
Well, they're both in the SEC now.
Yeah, that's right.
Here's the 3-1. That's inside. You could hear Fielding Colbreth say it before I did. And now they're loaded up, and it's a big at bat for Logan Morrison. You see pitch tracks, and pitch 5 was clearly in. So 2 walks for Minor, the 1 hit by Infante, and now Morrison, who was on an 0 for 13 skid.
And the one area, Rich, that has been a struggle, Gabby Sanchez is in the minor leagues right now, is first base production. So most of that, Gabby and Logan Morrison, Lomo has played about 18 or 19 games at first base, and the production just hasn't been there, and that's a position you look for to get some home runs, to get some RBIs.
0-1. Minor is 24. Morrison is 24.
When you think about it, there are really a couple of areas that have really affected the offense. Bonifacio's injury and Gabby's struggles, and ultimately being sent down to AAA.
Eduardo Perez has been able to revive some bats. Others have not come to life. Morrison got the bags loaded here with 2 outs. And a check swing on a soft breaking ball. It's 1-2.
And you can't put it all on those guys, because others, as we've mentioned all the time, have to pick things up, and that hasn't happened either.
Fonte a 1-out single. Ramirez walked after Stanton flied out. Ruggiano walked. It's been a long inning for Minor. 25th pitch coming up. Breaking ball. Morrison lines it foul.
Was a nice approach. He waited, stayed back on that breaking ball, just sliced it foul. I don't think pitchers will mind the high pitch innings as much as they used to when it was hot, sticky, and humid and outside.
No, this is a very different environment.
There were times that you could see some visiting pitchers wilt in about the 5th or 6th inning.
Morrison, a lefty-lefty matchup. Some of his best ABs lately have been against lefties, but not this one. Minor gets a breaking ball at the knees for a called 3rd strike. And the Marlins leave him loaded in the 1st. H. Gregg. Roof closed, AC on in Miami at Marlins Park. Coventry Healthcare, 2nd inning. Lefties on the mound. Both have a very different pace to their work tonight. Burley floats a changeup outside to Dan Uggla. Matt Diaz, Jason Hayward to follow. Of course, Uggla had the explosive start to this series and a triumphant return back to Miami. And his first taste of Marlins Park, he went wild, driving in 5, hitting 2 homers, bouncing 1 off the Clevelander sign, hitting the middle of the sun out on the home run sculpture. And Uggla hammers that one foul. He had a great batting practice. He bounced one off the concourse and then up against the windows. Went up at the Budweiser bar as well.
You know, you and I have both had a chance to talk to Dan Uggla, because we love talking to him, number one. And the one thing he said he loves about this park the most is the background, the batter's eye. He said you can really pick up the ball well.
3-2 coming. Change up. Ugla sends it out to center field. Ruggiano glides over and makes the catch. It's an interesting defensive alignment for the Fish tonight. It's brought to you by the Cleveland Clinic, Florida.
Yeah, it is. And if you're Donovan Solano, follow the lead of Justin Ruggiano. A little more experience out there, standing right. Everything's setting up the same around the infield with Brett Hayes making his 15th start of the year. Brett Hayes behind the plate.
Matt Diaz now goes after the first pitch. Reyes in the hole. Quick release. Great throw. Terrific play. Jose Reyes.
The crowd loved that one, too. Boy, he made that look easy. Deep in the hole. He knew that Diaz has average to below average speed. So he had time. This is how you slow the game up. You hear youngsters saying, got to slow the game up a little bit. He got to it, made the nice flip and a perfect throw to first.
Gary Thurman, the Marlins outfield instructor and first base coach, is stationed at the corner of the dugout as close as he can get to Donovan Solano and Ruggiano, just to make sure that they are lined up according to the scouting report that the Marlins have for each hitter.
And the thing with Burley on the mound, you have to line up quickly.
Hayward sends that one out to center field. Ruggiano is there, and he makes the catch. Nicely done. Mark Burley, a brief appearance in the second.
En español es presentado en SAP por Coventry Healthcare of Florida.
In Miami tonight, Marlins and Braves. A scoreless ball game. Mike Minor goes back to work. Mark Burley, a much different pace than Minor. Minor labored through the first. And it's not that Burley has thrown fewer pitches. In fact, Minor has thrown one fewer pitch than Burley has. It's just the pace in which Burley has worked.
Yeah, but Minor just starting the second inning. Burley's all done with it.
Breaking ball for a strike. And the count's 1-1. Now this is the part of the order where the Marlins are hopeful to get a spark. Donovan Solano, Brett Hayes, and then Burley is due up. Solano pops a pitch up. Ugla on the outfield grass makes the catch. There's an out here in the bottom of the second. Hayes is on his way to the plate. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority. The Miami Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Hayes exchanging greetings with Brian McCann and fielding Colbreth.
You know how there's that fraternity of hitters, the hitter's card that we all carry. There's a special fraternity for catchers.
And home plate umpires.
Yes.
Those that wear the gear. Although there were 3 gate crashers to that fraternity the other night, the first game of the series. Those 3 kids that were sitting behind home plate with the red-orange jerseys and the umpire masks
They're
on.
wannabes.
They were very well choreographed, though. They were having a good time. It's not often that you see, I mean, you see fans come to the game with their favorite player's jersey on, their favorite team cap on. Not many fans come to the game dressed as their favorite umpire. I mean, if you were to dress up as an umpire, Tommy Hutton, which one would it be? I mean, for me, I would go Jim Joyce. Fastball misses outside.
Jim Joyce would be a good choice. I think he shaved it, but when he had the mustache, Bill Hahn was always a favorite.
The 2-2. Hayes fouls it up.
Perhaps Ed Rapuano. Perhaps an Angel Hernandez.
Eddie Rapp would be a good one. The nice thing is, as long as you got a mask on, you look the part. It starts tomorrow night. The Marlins enter the American League East with the Rays for 3. Then the Red Sox for 3. Then the Rays for 3 more. Then the Red Sox for 3 more. Hayes gets into that one and drives it to left field. It's deep and it's off the wall. Around first is Hayes. Diaz throw to second is not in time. And Brett Hayes with a double, a 1-out double. Marlins, who left the bases loaded here in the first, have a runner at second and 1 out.
Boy, that's a nice swing. Good AB by Brett Hayes. And to try to get things going, and we mentioned Hayes making his 15th start behind the plate. The Marlins, in his 14 starts, are 7-7.
Double number 5 for Hayes. And Burley up there, not squaring to bunt. Looking down at Joe Espada. Prado at third is on the grass. Hinsky at first, starting to creep in.
I think with nobody out, you'd definitely be bunting, but now with 1 down, maybe you get a fastball, let Burley swing. If you get in a bunting situation tonight, if you're the Marlins, you're going to want to try to take it toward Hinsky. You don't have the slick fielding Freddie Freeman out there.
Burley, now that's an ugly swing. And
he would be the first to admit that.
Absolutely. That's why I said it. Burley, a guy that, I mean, thoroughly enjoys the game, is one of the most active pitchers, maybe the most active pitcher I've ever seen during batting practice on days when he doesn't pitch. He likes to get to the cage early. He likes to take some cuts until Ozzie chases him out.
I heard a story the other day that when he was with the White Sox, he was always the guy who went out to catch the ceremonial first pitch.
Yes. He said it kind of started and it became a tradition. Here's the 2-2. A little tapper. Plus, he said he learned early, and he was a young player then. They gave him stuff. He would get like television sets and gift certificates, and
he gets to shake hands with the celebrity who's throwing out the first pitch.
He said he kind of became like the unofficial mascot of the first pitch.
You know, right now I hear he's in negotiations with Billy for that role.
He's staying alive against the lefty, the 2-2. Fastball. Burley sends it out to center. Bourne is there, and he makes the catch. 2 outs. Here comes Jose Reyes. The Saturday Spectacular with the Rays is, of course, on a Saturday. That's why it's the Saturday Spectacular. 7:15 start. The party begins on the West Plaza at 5. Music, entertainment after the game. Stay in your seats for a fireworks spectacular and enjoy a live concert on that West Plaza. 1-877 Marlins, or go to marlins.com. A weekend with the Rays and then the Red Sox on Monday night.
And that, by the way, Saturday night is a non-televised game, so you're going to have to come out to see the Marlins and Rays. Of course, it will be shown on the Rays broadcast.
No.
Am I wrong on that?
You are wrong on that. It's Big Fox.
Oh, okay.
It's a Big Fox game.
Dick Stockton will be in town.
Dick Stockton will be here. A strike to Reyes. And it's 1-1.
So Dwayne Stats gets the night off as well.
Dwayne Stats. I believe Brian Anderson will work with Dick Stockton on Saturday
So
night.
he will not get the night off.
No, he won't. We'll leave him a fine parting gift here in the booth.
Yes, we will.
Matt Moore, Carlos Zambrano on Saturday. James Shields, Anibal Sanchez on Sunday. Reyes takes up, and you saw that matchup tomorrow night. Jeremy Hellickson, who's pitched real well this year. He's 4-2 with a 2.69 ERA against Ricky Nolasco.
Yeah, no let up from the American League Rookie of the Year last year.
Reyes in a 2-1 count. Hayes at second. And Minor took something off that one and got a strike. 2-2. Rays tonight in New York taking on the Yankees.
That's a good matchup. We mentioned David Price, the left-hander, against C.C. Sabathia.
That game scoreless going into the bottom of the first. 2-2 coming. Reyes hits a ground ball towards short. Simmons gets around it, backhands it. I'll tell you what, that youngster can really play shortstop. Andrelton Simmons. Learn the name.
Marlins Park. Look, a little Hanley Ramirez over at third base. First, Ozzie Guillen's thoughts. He's been very impressed with Hanley's D at third so far.
I mean, I can only talk about the people I watch.
Yeah.
I think it's the best one so far. I mean, even we play against Wright. And Wright, to me, is one of the best third basemen. And Hanley's play up to that caliber. You know, this kid. I know nobody see how good he be because he's not, was at third base. That's why no people put too much attention to it. But I think Hanley is better, 100% better than what we thought.
So where does he rank? Well, he's second in putouts in the National League over at third base. Chris Johnson is 39, Hanley is 38. And in fielding percentage, always a great measure for how you're doing at a position. He's also second. Placido Polanco is at 992. and Hanley is second at 984. And you haven't noticed virtually anything negative. He's gotten used to the position. He's worked well with Reyes, especially in the last 2 months there, and he's doing a great job, guys.
You're right about that. There's a liner that's fouled. The thing that has come quicker than I think most people have expected, Tommy, the instinctive plays all of a sudden he is starting to make.
And that just shows you the kind of athlete he is, to have those instincts. I saw him today taking lots of ground balls off the fungo bat of Joey Cora. And Joey was purposely, and Hanley was asking him to hit him to his backhand, hit him hard to his backhand. And he was making a lot of plays up the line.
Joey Cora, a very good infielder in his day. He was a second baseman. Hinske pulls a ball. Morrison knocks it down, picks it up. Burley's there. The throw. Look at that. In time. Morrison surrounded it and then finally corralled it. And Burley was waiting and niftily got his foot and his glove in the right spot.
One thing you know is that Burley's going to be there. Lomo didn't panic. He had time. There's the flip, and Burley with the little snag catch. But off the heel, but was able to chase it down and wisely picks it up with the bare hand. And then, yes, Burley's there. He got a little bit of time because Hinske was the runner.
Burley could have barehanded it like Paul Konerko on the Burley play from last year. But he chose to use the glove. Here is Simmons. We were just talking about him at short, and he's been pretty impressive at the plate as well. That's his 4th hit of the series as he singles to left field. Our Cholula hot sauce spotlight player. We told you last night he went to West Oklahoma State Junior College, growing up in Curacao. Won the batting championship in Single A. Guy that started as a pitcher.
That's thus the strong throwing arm from short.
Minor will square, sets it down. It hit the bat twice. And you heard Fielding Colbert say he was out front. The ball hit the bat twice. Freddie Gonzalez is going to argue.
Freddie is going to want Fielding Colbert to maybe get some help from the first base ump, Adrian Johnson. He hasn't asked for that yet. Colbert giving him his explanation that the ball got him as he was out of the box.
Well, the ball hit the bat.
Or did it hit the bat twice?
It did hit the bat twice. Once, twice. I don't think he's out. He clearly was in the box, Tommy. He was not out of the box.
No, he wasn't out of the box at all.
And so that should be a foul ball.
Comes up, looks like it gets his right hand, his fingers.
That should be a foul ball. He's inside the box. And it hit the bat. Even if it hits his hand, if he's in the box, it's a dead ball, and it's a foul ball.
So the Marlins get a little break. I'm sure first base coach Terry Pendleton, by the way, there is Minor trying to understand that call. Terry Pendleton warning all the runners, hey, this guy has a great move. And just that will shut down a team's running game.
Michael Bourne now, leadoff hitter for the Braves with 2 outs. Burley catches the corner. It's 1-1. Two and one. Bourne, an acquisition last year, of a stretch drive acquisition who really pumped some life into Atlanta's offense down the stretch. Rolls it to first. Morrison has it, and he'll step on the bag. Burley gets through. Rather uneventful third. Scoreless ball game here in Miami. with Mike Minor trying to bunt.
He's out right here. Hit him right here. Hit the bat again right here.
We have the ruling. We have the ability to check in every once in a while with an umpire representative up here in the booth. And the ruling is if it hits the bat twice and if it hits it the second time in fair territory, he's out. Which it did. Didn't hit him. Hit the bat twice, but the ball was in fair territory. It was out in front of the plate.
Boy, not by much.
I know you're looking like you don't agree with me, but it was out in front of the plate.
I'm not. I'm looking like Freddie was looking. Like what?
How'd Freddie make out?
Not too good. Here's Infante, and he takes a strike. Counts 0-2 to Infante. Got Hanley Ramirez, Giancarlo Stanton right behind him. Ooh, close pitch. Here's another look at it.
Okay, is the ball in fair territory? Yeah. It's out in front of the plate when it hit him the second time.
That is strike 3. Minor brought it in beautifully. And so Minor has struck out a pair. It's an interesting rule because you see it not often, but it happens where on a swing, a hitter will hit the ball twice.
But usually that's because it's on a backswing and the ball's behind him, not in fair territory. In this case, the ball was in fair territory in front of him.
And fair territory is anything from the plate straight up. The plate is fair territory. Even the back of the plate is fair territory.
It was a quick call by Field and Culbreth, and it was the right call.
Minor misses on a fastball, and it's 2-0. Hanley walked back in the first. The Marlins loaded the bases in the first, didn't get the run home. They had a one-out double in the second and didn't get the run home. And Hanley on a 2-0 pitch fouls it back.
Hanley's had a couple of decoy takes. First two at bats, he had a situation where the pitch before that he just swung at, the pitch before he was taking all the way. So maybe planting the seed in Minor's head, okay, he's going to take another pitch. Well, Hanley had a rip at that last one. What gets Hanley in trouble every once in a while is swinging pitches out of the zone.
Minor clearly has not been sharp, but the Marlins have not been able to take advantage of it in the first 2 innings. Broken bat doesn't bother the youngster out there. Simmons makes the play. 2 outs, and here comes Stanton. Red Sox are here on Monday. Marlins and Red Sox from Monday through Wednesday, the 11th through the 13th. All 3 games at 7:10. On Wednesday, all fans in attendance get a drawstring bag courtesy of MLB Network. Get your tickets early. Call 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com today.
One thing Minor has done a lot tonight, he was successful that time with Hanley, sawing him off. He's not been afraid to go inside to the right-handed hitters.
Stanton hit a fly ball out to right, and he was in a good hitter's count. That was a big out because the Marlins had first and second, and Minor fell behind Stanton. I believe it was a 2-0 pitch that he hit in the air to right.
Kind of snuck a fastball by him on the inner part of the plate.
Goes in on him and gets a strike. 1-2.
Giancarlo's really hit well against lefties this year coming into the game, .362.
1-2 coming. Minor got him. Stanton strikes out, a pair of strikeouts, and suddenly Minor has found his groove. To get a game of this 3-game set. The Atlanta Braves have come in here, pitched well, played great defense, had timely hitting, had a lot of hitting in game 1, timely hitting last night. And the Marlins have had opportunities in this ball game, but no runs. Prado goes after the first pitch. Ruggiano's had a lot of business in center so far, and he makes the catch. This is the 4th inning, which means the AT&T phone will appear. We'll flip it, and here comes the trivia question. 73, 2 Braves hit 40 or more homers each, but didn't drive in 100 runs.
Okay, in 73, I believe that was the season they had 3 players with 40 or more home runs.
Darrell Evans,
Davy Johnson, and Henry Aaron. So 2 of those guys didn't have 100 ribbies.
McCann lines that one down the left field line. Foul. That's against the shift that the Marlins had. And remember last night, McCann twice went to left field to get hits, despite the Marlins overloading the right side of the infield.
We will be in shift heaven over the weekend with Joe Madden.
The Rays are the industry leader.
It'll be a shifty series.
They're on the cutting edge of infield shifts. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And it's in. So much so that, I mean, if you watch the Rays play with all the shifts, you almost want to rename some of the infielders. Now, Morrison didn't have to go get that one. He had Infante right behind him, but with Burley on the mound, there's no worry.
Yeah, that's okay. You have a pitcher on the mound who can't get over quickly, then you have to be careful and you have to let Infante make that play. So I guess you could say in that series, shifts happen.
No, you could say that. I would get in trouble if I said that. Just keep it plural, and you're okay.
And I did.
Here's the pitch. It's outside to Dan Uggla. Uggla has flied to center. And Burley throws a strike. Uggla with 10 homers, 37 driven in. We talked about last night. His walks are way up. Though he didn't hold up there, and it's 1-2. He's all alone in third in the National League with 36 walks. Joey Votto, David Wright in front of him. And if that trend holds, because Ugla's always been up there in strikeouts, and he's up there again this year.
And he always will be.
But if he gets to 100 walks, then all of a sudden people, I think, start seeing him in a different light. He punctured the 90 walk mark once in his career.
That was a typical Mike Schmidt season. He'd strike out over 100 times, but he'd walk over 100.
2-2. Up and in.
But you kind of disregard all of that when you realize over the last 6 years, Ugla has averaged 32 home runs and 91 RBIs.
Yanks that one foul. You got to also remind yourself, too, here's a 3-2. Ugla fouls it off. Just after the draft, and we talk about first-round draft picks and big bonuses, Ugla was an 11th-round pick by the Diamondbacks out of the University of Memphis, despite being a two-time All-American. Burley was a 38th-round pick. Mark Burley was one of those draft and follow guys after his freshman year in junior college. The White Sox drafted him in the 38th round. He was at Jefferson Junior College. White Sox watched him pitch his sophomore year and then signed him before the draft the next year. That's inside corner, and that's a terrific sequence by Mark Burley. Accident, slipper, fall, one call, that's all. 1-800-NEED-HELP. That's 1-800-633-3435. And by Columbia Pictures movie, That's My Boy, starring Adam Sandler and Andy Samberg, in theaters June 15th. No runs tonight for either ball club. Justin Ruggiano tomahawks one foul.
I like to kind of check things and back things up, and I was just looking at the career numbers of the Hall of Famer Mike Schmidt. 7 times in his career he had over 100 strikeouts and over 100 walks, and we all know about the 548 career home runs, but his on-base percentage in his career, 380.
Ruggiano takes up and in. Justin walked back in the first. If you're just joining us, Ruggiano not only getting the start in center field, but getting the start in the 5 spot behind Giancarlo Stanton.
That's outside.
Well, I like the job that Fielding Culbreth does. He lets you know. We've heard him numerous times tonight say that's inside. That time he said that's outside.
He had a great explanation after that bunt play where Minor was called out. He was very forceful, outlined it quickly. He diffused an angry manager. (3-1). Ruggiano doesn't get cheated in a hitter's count. He takes a good rip.
Yeah, you can see every once in a while his swing gets a little long, and I'm sure pitchers try to crowd him inside. But if you make a mistake out over the plate, he's going to give you a good swing.
Counts 3-2. Ruggiano leading off in the bottom of the fourth. And his second walk.
And he's given Ozzie a couple of nice at-bats, too.
I'm going to go Darrell Evans and Davy Johnson.
I'm going to go Davy Johnson, Henry Aaron.
You were right. I was off by one Brave.
But, yeah, that was the year that Darrell Evans also hit over 40 home runs.
How many home runs did Dusty Baker hit that year? 21 home runs for Dusty Baker that year. Crackstaff is on it.
Darrell Evans had 41 that year with 104 RBIs.
Morrison up. One of the big at-bats in this ball game. Bags loaded. Morrison at the plate. He was called out on strikes in the first, and that finished the inning. Time called.
And he's been active at first base. A lot of busy plays down there.
Morrison now in an 0 for 14 with 5 strikeouts. And I think his 0 for 14 shows up and is a lot more painful because of where he's hitting in the order. He's been in the 5 spot, now he's in the 6 spot. John Buck's struggles have been painful, but he's been down in the 7 and the 8 spot, where everyone has been struggling. Morrison drives it to right, and Hayward is there and makes the catch.
And the frustrating part, there have been times during that offer where he's nailed the ball. He's hit it really well, and unfortunately, it's been like that, right at an outfield.
Now Donovan Solano. Now that Morrison has lined out, Ruggiano, as Jeff Conine pointed out, runs well. But Tommy, in the scouting report, Mike Minor has a plus move to first.
Yeah, you might think about hit and run, maybe not on the first pitch, maybe a little later into the count. I wonder if Donovan Solano got a chance to watch his brother Jonathan caught this afternoon in the Nationals game against the Mets. Went 1 for 3.
R.A. Dickey is now 9-1. Mets getting that win, and I said it a month ago. R.A. Dickey may be in the All-Star game. He may be starting the All-Star game. Minor has got him picked, and the throw is in time. So both lefties have picked off base runners. It's going to go as a caught stealing.
Yeah, and this throw, not the best of throws by Hinske. He doesn't step inside the line. It goes over the head of Ruggiano, but right there in time to put the tag on Ruggiano was the shortstop, Simmons. Now, if the hit and run were on, I doubt it was with the count 0-1. But if it were on, then that's a bad base running play.
Solano flips this one down the line. Hayward's there, and it's foul. We know that many of you watch the telecast with your computers, your tablets close by. If you'd like, on on Sports Illustrated's site, SI.com, their baseball page, there's a nice article on Giancarlo Stanton. And the title is Mr. Incredible. Albert Chen talking about some of his legendary home runs from the minor leagues up through the home runs this year.
And he is pretty incredible watching him attack a baseball. Mentioned R.A. Dickey has a consecutive inning streak, scoreless inning streak now, 24 2/3 with his outing today.
Two and two. Would it be something if he were starting the All-Star game? That one is cracked over the head of Prado and into the corner, and Solano is around first, on his way to second, and will hold there. Donovan Solano with a double.
Well, a couple of guys who are just going to help Ozzie Guillen make out that lineup. Ruziano's had a couple of nice at-bats. He's drawn 2 walks. Good AB there by Solano, and he caps it off with a shot. It turns into a double, a 2-out double. And he just keeps, we reference this, and I hate to bring up spring training stats in June, but he had over 400 in spring training, and he impressed everybody in the spring.
And the Braves aren't even going to mess with Brett Hayes. They'll take their chances with Mark Burley.
Hayes had a nice AB and a double back in the second inning.
Burley hit a fly ball out to center. And he stands in with Reyes waiting on deck.
The Marlins with more extra base hits in this game than in the previous 2 games against the Braves.
And they have walked as many times in this game as they had in the first 2 games. But what has it gotten them? Nothing. And how many runs did they score in game 1 of the series? Nothing. Last night, 1 measly run on 2 hits. But you're going to run into spots like this. The ball club came into this series tied for first in the hyper-competitive National League East. You just hope that good starting pitching will keep you in games and you can figure out a way to score some runs.
And that was the frustrating thing of last night's game. We all agreed that probably the best outing Josh Johnson's had this year.
If you took anything out of last night's game, it was the encouraging sight of Johnson living in the mid 90s, 95, 96, great tilt on his slider, and as you pointed out last night, the ability to put away hitters.
At 9 strikeouts.
0-2, Burley takes outside.
Minor trying to put away Mark Burley here. Burley with a couple of hits this year. This is a tough matchup for him, though, the lefty.
Solano, a 2-out double. Hayes walked intentionally. And of course, remember the inning opened with a leadoff walk to Ruggiano, and he was picked off by Minor. Well, maybe Burley has at least worked himself into a fastball count here. He's watched 2 breaking balls low and away.
See if he gets himself a fastball.
He got it, but it's out to right, and Hayward is in to make the catch. It's not a bad at bat by Burley, but the Marlins leave 2 more runners on in a scoreless game.
net above me here, just a small area, probably about 20 feet by 20 feet or so, just on this end here toward left center field. The reason is not these fans here. They watch the game closely, but the bartenders were getting nailed with some batting practice balls. Kevin, the bartender, said he almost took one right in the face. He also said they lost a top shelf bottle as well, so it gives new meaning to drinks like the mudslide maybe or the highball. But now they put this netting in here, which will cover the area and at least keep the important thing here in the Cleveland, the most important thing, the booze, safe. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, you're right, Craig. You have to have priorities in life.
That's right.
Matt Diaz with Jason Hayward and Eric Hinsky. It's a scoreless ball game. Marlins have left 6 on base. The Braves have left just 1. And Diaz takes inside. Diaz getting the start against lefties this year.
Well, there's a reason for that. He's hitting .316 against lefties this year.
Diaz trying to slow Burley's pace down. Diaz, one of the few major league players that probably got a little misty-eyed when it was announced that the Marlins were moving out of Sun Life Stadium, because he absolutely crushed there. He was just a tick under 400 in that ballpark.
Yeah, overall, he's a .366 hitter against the Marlins with 10 home runs, but a lot of that damage at Sun Life.
Diaz started his year last year with the Pirates, appeared in 100 games. The Braves got him back for the stretch drive. Reyes quickly to first. Burley has the first out of the 5th. Time out for the Just for Men Auto Stop Foolproof Stats. Ryan McCann's a guy that has hit the Marlins well in a Braves uni. Just as the Braves are counting on McCann, you can count on Just for Men Auto Stop for foolproof results. Hayward now. Breaking ball, high fly ball, right field deep. Stanton into the corner, disappears, and the ball doesn't get to him. It either hit the seats or possibly a fan and then trickles down. From our angle, it was impossible to tell if that fan had reached over. Let's take another look.
Reaching a little bit, but I don't think they reached over into play.
No, the guy just dropped it. Burley flips up another breaking ball. That missed outside. It's 1-1. And Burley stays away again.
See, one of the subtle game plans of the Braves is to try to slow down the pace of Mark Burley. Didn't work for Jason Hayward as he stepped out, adjusted his gloves, and then took a nice cut fastball on the outside corner for strike 3.
You know the stories we tell about Tim Lincecum getting to high school weighing under 100 pounds. Mark Burley was cut from his high school team both his freshman and his sophomore season. He was only 5 feet tall, and he hit a growth spurt in high school, and all of a sudden he made the team as a junior. As a senior, went to junior college, as we told you, 38th round pick, and signed with the White Sox. Signed in '98. He was in the big leagues in 2000. Hinsky went. Counts 1-2.
I used to remember hearing stories about many-time All-Star shortstop Larry Boa didn't make his high school team.
Mark Burley right now is
working him. He's working him.
Punches out Eric Hinsky in a scoreless game in Miami.
por Toyota.
Well, let's see if Cookie and Raul are working quickly tonight, much like Mark Burley.
Hey, Tommy Richie, you like my shirt? Look,
you're killing us.
All over the place.
You're killing us every night, Cookie.
We're all dressed up over here with ties and coats and all that, but that looks good. I like that.
Absolutely.
But we have the way Burley's pitching tonight. We have to talk quickly.
Well, I'll tell you.
Mucho rápido,
Yes.
Raul.
Definitivamente, you have to do it quickly. Minor, on the other hand, he's taking a little bit more time between his pitches. But Burley, what is it, like 2.5 hours more or less? He averages his starts.
Yeah, he's one of the notoriously one of the quickest in all of baseball. Minor though, and guys, over here we've been talking about how the Marlins had Minor on the ropes, didn't get any runs, and suddenly he looks like a different pitcher from the first 2 innings.
Well, that was the time that we could have scored off of him, and he was his control was off. He was walking people, and now he's raised his he pitches all the way to 85 now, and we weren't able to get a base hit, especially taking a strike with bases loaded down the middle. You got to swing the bat.
Reyes takes inside, the count's 2-2.
Hey, Rich, Tommy, does little Jose travel with you guys on the plane?
Yes, he does.
Although I got to tell you, the security is tight. He has his own posse.
An entourage?
He has his own people.
Nice.
And we have to be very careful with how we approach him. That ball's hit to left. It's deep. Diaz back at the track. Off the top and gone! Jose Reyes, his first. And the Marlins have their run. 1-0.
I really enjoyed that. This is the first time we have a home run while we're both on the air at the same time. That was fun, Rich.
Yeah. I mean, and Tommy and I were talking about it, guys. We thought he would go deep up in Philadelphia. We were just off by a series.
That's good to see. It's the longest stretch he's ever gone without a home run. Great to see, and at a great time, too.
Absolutely, and I think that he's done a great job playing shortstop for us, the way he's played with the enthusiasm that he does and everything else, and his fielding and his arm, everything. It's just real good to see him hit that home run and put us ahead 1-0 now.
Nice adjustment there on that high pitch, too.
Yeah, a mistake by Minor got that pitch up, and Reyes went up and got it. Hey, real quick, Cookie, while we have you, what have you thought of the young shortstop, Andrelton Simmons?
I think he's outstanding. They were great hands, and he has a pretty good idea who's running. He don't have to rush a throw when he don't have to, and then when he needs to, he fires a rifle down to first base. I think he has great, absolutely range, and he showed some power the other day in the first game when he got 2 or 3 hits. The kid is going to be a good one.
Yeah, I'm with you. And a guy that was originally a pitcher, now a shortstop. You don't see that conversion made very often.
That is very true. That's very rare that you could do that. But he's adjusted very well, and especially playing shortstop.
By the way, the home run allowed by Mike Minor, the 14th he's allowed this year, that leads the National League.
He sure has given a lot of them, that's for sure.
Here's the 1-2 coming to Infante. Bounce to third. Prado throws him out. All right, guys, have a good telecast.
Have a good one, Richie, Tommy.
All right, hold the lead. Hold the lead.
If the Marlins need a run, we may come back to you for that.
We'll be right here waiting.
We'll be here.
Hey, there's a lot of times, Rich, when a guy will hit a home run like that or get a run in a situation where the Marlins have had trouble scoring, and then they'll go in the dugout and they'll tell Mark Burley, they'll say, all right, Burles, there's your run. Go get him.
Well, once again, it's the top of the order, the top 4 hitters we talked about on Marlins Live having so much success.
A couple of doubles from the bottom part, though, tonight. Solano and Hayes.
And Ruggiano in the 5 spot has walked twice.
That's right, Jose. Numero uno. I think it was the conversation and the question from Raul about Lil Jose that sparked that, perhaps.
Well, you know, the one thing that has been true is that I don't think Jose and little Jose have been ever spotted in the same spot at the same time.
No, they have not.
Here's the 2-1. Hanley takes a breaking ball. Miner thought he caught the plate, and McCann held it there.
You've got to figure, Rich, this is going to be the last inning for Mike Miner. He's at 95 pitches, and he's due up second when the Braves bat in the 6th inning.
Hanley has walked and bounced out, and he's walked again.
I'm sure Freddie Gonzalez would like to see Miner finish this inning. He's going to get his pitching coach, Roger McDowell, to make that phone call down to the bullpen, though, just in case.
Miner has handled Stanton. He's flied out, struck out. We showed you the 2 long home runs that Stanton hit last year against Miner in September here in South Florida.
See, the Reyes home run, Rich, easy to determine the distance because it hit right on top of the fence. 355.
Outfield wall is what, 12 feet out there?
Yeah. And 344 down the line, so a little bit over where that ball hit.
You have to be a very athletic outfielder to get up to the top of that wall.
Personally, I like the walls that are 10 feet because then you get that outfielder every once in a while pulling a home run ball back. But 12 feet is probably not going to happen.
Miner to first, and Hanley is back. 2-1. Giancarlo Stanton is up. Marlins a 1-0 lead over the Braves here in the bottom of the 5th. Stanton sitting on 13 homers. A standing invite from Matt Kemp to join the National League in the home run hitting contest. Stanton would like to not only join the home run hitting contest but also be on that all-star team, and he certainly deserves it.
They'll keep voting.
He's having a lot of trouble with the off-speed stuff.
Yeah, Miner has him outthinking himself. There's the number of pitches.
Missed away. Now, he's been able to get Stanton to swing at the off-speed pitch, especially the one down low. It's 3-2.
I'd be surprised if Stanton sees fastball. Also wonder what Hanley's going to do here, 3-2 with 1 out.
Off-speed pitch, and that got him. So Stanton 0 for 3 in the ball game. Corona Light wants you to find your beach this summer with the Miami Marlins. Corona Light is offering 6 lucky Marlin fans the chance to win 4 tickets in a Fiesta Suite for an upcoming game at Marlins Park. Just go to your local participating retailer, look for the Corona Light display for details on how to enter and win. Ruggiano out to center. Bourne is there and makes the catch. But the Marlins are on the board. It took a solo homer from Big Jose. Jose Reyes, his first of the season.
Well, he's done what we've seen him do all year, make pitches, field his position. He's worked inside. He's done that to both lefties and righties. Right now he's retired 8 in a row. The last to reach base was Simmons, who's batting now.
In the Subway 6th inning. Chopper to third. Hanley flips to first in time. And so Burley now has retired 9 straight.
Freddie Gonzalez did not have anybody in the on-deck circle. I think he was trying to determine what would happen with Simmons. But it looks like it's going to be Juan Francisco.
Hayes out to talk with Burley. Take a look at Francisco as he gets loose. Tico brings you the National League East standings. With Washington's loss, the Marlins climb within a game and a half, and the Mets, with that win, they're a game and a half, and so are the Braves. So the winner of this ball game will have sole possession of second place.
And I think important to try to salvage this game of this series, because then it begins that stretch of 12 games against Tampa and the Red Sox.
Red Sox a much better team right now than they were in the month of April. The Rays certainly have been playing well, and especially without Evan Longoria. The fact that the Rays are where they are without Longoria, a testament to Joe Madden and the rest of that bunch in St. Pete. Francisco swings and misses.
I wonder what kind of fashion statement the Rays will make on their trip from New York, where they're playing right now, and have a 3-1 lead, by the way, down to South Florida.
Normally, when the Rays come to Miami, it's all white, sort of the Miami Vice ode to. Two and two. One out here in the 6th in a 1-0 Marlins lead. Burley's breaking ball is popped up. Hanley's calling. Reyes is trailing. Hanley's there, and he makes the catch.
I guess the other thing to ask would be, if the Marlins win this game tonight, looks like Chad Durbin is going to come in, will they continue with the red-orange hats?
Well, the Fish haven't been too superstitious this year. They've mixed and matched colors and uniform tops, but you never know. I think there are some real interesting questions to be asked and answered. With Austin Kearns close to being ready to go, he had been hit in the elbow in a rehab game. The hamstring sounds like it's ready to go.
I think he's been in 3 games so far for Jupiter,
but he's ready, just about ready to come off.
And here he is. So yeah, I would say with him being here, he's ready to come off, and when he does, then obviously that bodes the question, who goes?
And when do the Marlins call Gabby Sanchez back up, if they are going to call Gabby Sanchez back up?
And the Marlins, by the way, will see a lefty in that Tampa Bay series in the middle game, Matt Moore.
They won't see David Price, but Moore's pretty darn good too. That one right back up the box. Burley hits the deck, and Bourne with a 2-out single. Now Burley picked him off all the way back in the 1st inning.
So you know that Bourne has filed that away, and I believe when he got picked off, remember, it was a 1-3-6. He went on first movement, and Logan Morrison threw him out at second base. So that breaks a string of 10 consecutive hitters retired by Mark Burley.
Martin Prado has flied out a couple times. Because I'm with you, if you take a look back at the first inning.
There goes Bourne. Good step inside by Lomo with a nice throw. You've got to do everything just right to get a speedster like Bourne if he goes on first move.
Pitch misses for ball one. I'm with you in that as the Marlins make moves over the next couple of days, you don't necessarily move the pieces back that you just brought up in Ruggiano and Solano, because those are two guys that are actually having good at bats and playing pretty well. Now it might be easier transaction wise in terms of options and contracts.
Sometimes that is, and that's the frustrating part for particular players every once in a while.
That one pulled foul.
You think of interleague play. The Marlins played Toronto this year. You wonder if they'll see Brandon Morrow. Brandon Morrow shut out the White Sox last night for the right-hander, the hard-throwing right-hander with the Blue Jays. His third shutout this year.
Brandon Morrow drafted ahead of Tim Lincecum by Seattle, and they turned him into a closer, and they didn't quite like the results, and they traded him to Toronto for Brandon Lee, who was a closer, though I don't think he's closing for Seattle now. That ball's hit well. Left field, deep. It is gone. Martin Prado gives the Braves a lead with a 2-run shot against Mark Burley. For Prado, just his 4th of the season.
Looked like it was one of those pitches that Mark Burley was trying to run inside, and Prado has that compact swing, and he got to it. Not in quite far enough, and just enough into the bullpen.
Here is Brian McCann. And the Braves had to be thinking to themselves, on a night where Mike Minor didn't look sharp at all and has been lifted from the game, he could get the win in this ball game. Center field, ball's hit pretty deep. Ruggiano is back and makes the catch. And that's the scene as the Braves will go to their bullpen for the bottom of the 6th with Atlanta on top now, 2-1. Baseball's greatest stars battle for home field advantage in the Fall Classic. The road to the World Series begins with the 2012 Major League Baseball All-Star Game Tuesday, July 10th, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Fox. Martin Prado, an All-Star a couple seasons ago, and he changes the ballgame with one swing from a 1-0 Marlins lead. It's now 2-1. Mike Minor can win this game if Chad Durbin and the rest of the Braves bullpen can hold the lead.
Now that's the really frustrating part. You talked about the struggles of Minor. The Marlins appeared to have him on the ropes a couple of times, yet only scored the one run, the solo home run by Reyes. Chad Durbin will try to bridge that bullpen and get it to those tough guys, the O'Flahertys and Venters and Kimbrel down there.
Logan Morrison, the first to face Durbin. Donovan Solano and Brett Hayes right behind him. The Marlins lineup stacked with right-handed bats, save Morrison, and so there are some left-handed options on that bench. Morrison to right. Hayward is over, and he makes the catch. And there's another ball that Lomo hits hard, and it ends up in the glove of Hayward. Now Donovan Solano, who has popped out and has doubled. The Minor, 5 innings. He threw 103 pitches in 5 innings. Not many guys can throw 103 pitches in 5 innings and give up just one.
Give up just one run and be in line for the win.
Absolutely. Having been lifted after the 5th. Gave up just 4 hits. He walked 5 and struck out 4. Breaking ball. And Solano stays alive. Tune in to watch Heat Live post game after every white hot playoff game. Brought to you by Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. Here's the 0-2.
Once again, the quickness of John Tuitu, our low third cameraman, shown on display on that hard shot right over his head.
Solano drives that one left center field. That's deep. Diaz is back. That's off the wall.
Keep him in the lineup somewhere.
He's digging and holding. He thought about third, holds on to second, and Solano has his second double of the night.
He's a spark, and he just hasn't stopped. Backup slider. He's all over it, and he really fooled Diaz. That ball jumped a lot further than Diaz thought it would.
He hit that ball to one of the deepest parts of the park. And now Brett Hayes. The Marlins have Greg Dobbs on deck. Despite an excellent effort, a 3-hit effort by Mark Burley. Runs have been hard to come by. And if you have a chance to score some here in the 6th, you got to take that chance.
Yeah, and you take the chance because right now nobody's warming in that Braves bullpen, so you figure you're going to get Dobbs against a righty, probably Durbin.
Steve Cishek up in the Marlins pen. Hayes' double hit the wall and left. He was intentionally walked in the 4th.
Donovan Solano now as a big leaguer is 7 for 14.
I don't think he's going back.
You may have to hold me back if he goes back.
Hayes steps out, counts 2-1.
Interesting, too, you got two teams here in the Braves and the Marlins. Neither has played well against the National League East. Marlins came into this game 9-12 against the East. The Braves 7-11 against the East. The Mets have played the best within their division.
And that's one of the reasons the Mets are where they are. They're one of the feel-good stories in baseball this year. Hayes swings and misses. So the Marlins are going to bring up their best pinch hitter right now in the bottom of the sixth in a one-run game, and it shows you how badly the Marlins have been going offensively the first two games of this series. Active career hit leaders, Dobbs at 79, tied on the all-time list with my partner Tommy Hutton.
And the other thing too, Ozzie knows as it gets later in the game, it's less likely he can match up Dobbs against a righty. He might have to face Venters or he might have to face O'Flaherty. So here's the opportunity, and that's why he's unloading Greg Dobbs right now.
Of course, in the process, he also has to lift Mark Burley from the game. And this is one of those that where Ozzie was talking in spring training about managing in the American League and the National League. He said it's easier to win the Cy Young in the American League for a guy like a Felix Hernandez, because in a game like this where a team hasn't scored any runs for him, you could run Burley out there for another 3 innings. But the Marlins have to lift him to take this shot.
And he still had some left. He was at 91 pitches.
Durbin being cautious with Dobbs. Durbin and Dobbs both Phillies. Durbin went to spring training with the Nationals. It's a strike. Donovan Solano, a couple of doubles. See where that last pitch was, right on the black. But the Marlins haven't chased Solano home. The only run on a Jose Reyes home run. Dobbs takes down low.
Well, I'll say he's being careful, and he's got the home run hitter, Jose Reyes. Of course, Reyes will bat left-handed against Durbin. So far, Dobbs has not seen a good pitch to hit at all.
The 3-1. And Dobbs may have gone out of the zone there. Count now 3-2.
Yeah, even that, a fastball he got, but down and away, borderline.
The Burley's line, 6 innings, a scant 3 hits, but both of the runs coming on the Martin Prado home run. A walk and 3 strikeouts. Dobbs has been so good in this spot, not only as a pinch hitter, but also with runners in scoring position this year. inside, just clipped his bat.
That's that cutter, hard cutter that Durbin throws.
Eight of 19 with runners in scoring position. 5 of 17 as a pinch hitter. Breaking ball, Dobbs to left, and Diaz has it lined up, and he makes the catch. And the Marlins leave another out there in scoring position. It is 2-1 Atlanta. Marlins haven't hit much. When they've had opportunities, they haven't hit at all. A solo homer by Jose Reyes. Martin Prado popped a 2-run homer in the top of the 6th inning. Those were the only runs that Mark Burley gave up. And if you had just watched the pitching performance of Mike Minor and Mark Burley, as you see Greg Dobbs out in left field, Steve Cishek is into the ball game. If you'd watched the performances from Minor and Burley, you would swear that Burley has a chance to win this game and not Minor, but the roles are reversed. Burley's on the hook for the loss. Minor could get the win. Steve Cishek out of the pen.
Well, it's a reoccurring theme, almost a reoccurring nightmare. The Marlins tonight 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. They've left 8 on base. So it's up to Steve Cishek now to just keep it this way and hope the offense can come alive a little bit.
Dan Uggla, and then Matt Diaz and Jason Hayward. 7th inning in Miami, 2-1 Braves. And Cishek steps into the ball game. The youngster out of Massachusetts. Parts of 2 years with the Fish. And has been outstanding wherever the Marlins have put him. And Ozzie Guillen has put him in a lot of different spots.
And I think Rich really establishing himself as a quality man out of a bullpen in many different roles, as you just said.
Last year an ERA of 2.44, made 48 appearances. He's going to blow past that at this pace. This is appearance number 25. No swing, says Adrian Johnson. And Cishek's ERA about half of what it was last year. He's at 1.14. His teammate Heath Bell openly lobbying for Cishek to get consideration for the National League All-Star team. Middle relievers do make the All-Star team. Sometimes they make them in bunches. 2 or 3 guys will make it. Sometimes it's exclusively closers and starters. 2-2.
of thought about the all-star picks, the managerial picks this year.
Douglas swings and misses.
See if you agree or disagree on this, Rich. Tony La Russa is going to manage the National League All-Star team. Normally, Tony would be focusing on his club, the Cardinals, and maybe not see everybody. But now that he's retired, I'm sure he watches a lot of baseball and has, I think, a better idea to choose and select in his managerial picks.
I think to Major League Baseball's credit, over the last 3-4 years, they've also taken a lot of the pressure off of a manager with the player vote. The league will help a manager just so a manager doesn't catch as much heat as many managers used to do when they were the sole source of picking the reserves.
It's a tough position for a manager to be in, and it was Charlie Manuel who selected Omar Infante.
Boy, he caught a lot of flack for that, and that wasn't even his player. It was from a rival team, but it had just come after a lot of talk and dialogue from both baseball and fans in that they want the All-Star game to matter. Home field advantage was at stake. You should choose your roster with guys that you could help. You could have win a game, that could stay in a ball game, both as a pitcher and as a position player if it went extra innings. And Charlie said, well, then it made a lot of sense to choose Infante, who was a super utility guy with the Braves. Slice to right. Stanton is over, and he makes the catch. Cishek has a couple of outs here in the 7th. Family Sunday on the 10th. The Rays and the Marlins. It's a 1:10 start. You can purchase your tickets in advance for Bark at the Park with the Humane Society of Greater Miami. And kids will get an Emilio Bonifacio Loviste t-shirt and run the bases after the game in the Diamond Dash. Love the sound effects. For tickets, go to marlins.com. And the proceeds for the tickets for Bark at the Park, of course, always benefit the Humane Society. Marlins used to get a terrific turnout at the old football stadium. I can remember totals of about 1,700 dogs on one night.
Craig is usually on the spot with plenty of interviews.
We usually get great shots of our favorites, the Dachshunds wearing the ice cream batting helmet, all cleaned out, of course. That ball's hit a long way to center field. That's deep. Ruggiano is back, looking up. It is gone. Wow. One of the longest we've seen hit to center. We saw Hanley Ramirez go up there, and now Jason Hayward plants one up there.
Well, the Marlins have pretty much contained Hayward in this series, except for now. And that pitch looked like it was out over the plate. You get a better look right here. Yes, it was belt high. And Hayward supplies our Warren Henry drive of the game, and it was a pretty good drive. Anything to straightaway center is hit well.
Hinske swings and misses. So Hayward, 7th homer. And all the runs tonight have scored on home runs. Braves have hit a couple. Marlins have a solo shot from Reyes. Bouncer to first. Morrison flips. Cishek is there. Braves add on. 7th inning stretch in Miami, and right now Atlanta's up by 2. Marlins were trailing late, and they had to deal with a three-headed monster. It was Venters, O'Flaherty, and in the ninth, Rookie of the Year, Craig Kimbrell. And Kimbrell came on to get the final 3 outs, record his 17th save, tops in the National League.
And it looks like the Marlins are going to have to deal with that trio again. Johnny Venters comes in to work here in the 7th. And it looks like Freddie Gonzalez has made a switch in left field. Also, Jose Constanza is in left field.
Breaking ball misses down low. You would suspect that Constanza is in the 9 spot. And that would put the pitcher up in the 5 spot where Diaz was. Reyes takes high. Now Reyes homered from this side of the plate. That was in the 5th. That was against Mike Minor. Chad Durbin worked a scoreless 6th. And Venters flings it outside. He's not been as sharp as he was last year. And that may be the reason behind his demotion, if you take it as that, from the 8th inning to the 7th inning, with O'Flaherty moving up in life to the 8th inning.
Does that rear its ugly head in arbitration?
It probably does. This was the Reyes home run, a Clevelander home run.
Yeah, it was. He got a pitch up in the zone, adjusted to it, and bounced right off the top of the fence into the Marlins bullpen.
A recurring theme, as Tommy has pointed out, the Marlins have been unable to score runs in this series. They've scored just 2. This is game 3, and it's deep at the bottom of the 7th, but they have had runners on, and they've got a runner on here, and Venters misses his first pitch to Omar Infante.
And now's the time to make Johnny Venters work. He had trouble throwing strikes to Reyes. He's missed with the first pitch to Infante. Okay, make him throw a strike.
Ball and a strike. Venters is 27 out of Pikesville, Kentucky. To right center field, and Hayward dives and makes the catch. Jason Hayward is taking over this game. A solo homer, and he robs Infante of extra bases.
And that has been a reoccurring theme as well. The Marlins have hit some balls well, and it seems like when they have, they've been chased down by Bourne, by Constanza, and in this situation, very nicely done by Jason Hayward.
Hanley Ramirez now has walked twice and bounced out, with Reyes at first. Sharp ground ball, diving stop, Simmons out there, relay Ugla. Whoa, what a double play. Simmons to Ugla. Hinsky a tumbling catch at first. And the Braves turn a beaut of a double play for Johnny Venters. It is 3-1 Atlanta. looking for win number 7. And we've got the game for you, 6:30 for Marlins Live here at Marlins Park. The Rays right now have a 5-1 lead in the bottom of the 5th against the Yankees, with David Price on the mound. Here, the Braves doing it with the bat, doing it with the glove, and contractually obligated to lead off the inning after that great play is Andrelton Simmons.
Yeah, what a great stab. I think we both thought that ball was going into left field for a base hit.
Simmons is only 21, out of Curacao. Had not played a game above single A before this year.
Hey!
2-1. Steve Cishek, his second inning. Jason Hayward hit one probably about 425, 430 feet to straightaway center. He hit it over the 418 sign, and that wall out there gets up to about 17, 18 feet. You see as it angles up. Cishek loses it.
Now with the left-handed bat of Jose Constanza, Ozzy's going to make the move to his bullpen.
So Ozzy takes the ball. Cishek exits. Randy Choate trots in, and this would be a Jose Cuervo call to the bullpen. Start playing some more home games, but they lead all of baseball with 19 road wins. And the Braves have played more road games than anybody in the National League, just 23 home games so far.
They'll go home after this series for a 9-game homestand against Toronto, the Yankees, and the Orioles.
Marlins have the Rays and the Red Sox coming in. So here's Choate with Simmons at first and Constanza up. You would expect Constanza would be trying to move the runner.
Now you have the back-to-back lefties, the speedsters, Constanza and then Bourne.
Let's see if he is bunting. He squares. 1-0. Brian Snitker, third base coach. Constanza had that hot start to his big league career last year when he got to the big leagues. And was lighting it up. He was over 500 for a while.
After all that time in the minor leagues, over 700 games in the minor leagues.
He made his time count last year.
Yeah, he made his Major League debut against the Marlins.
And you were right. You suspected it last night that with Burley on the mound, Constanza wouldn't be in the lineup, and thus Freddie Gonzalez would not hit his pitcher in the 8th position, which he had done with Constanza hitting 9th the first 2 games. Tries to bunt and misses. It's 1-1.
Yeah, I think in talking with Freddie, the reason he does that is because he wants the back-to-back speedy guys, Constanza and Bourne.
As Tony La Russa used to reason, you'd rather jumpstart the front of the lineup, and La Russa did it a lot in trying to get more at bats for Albert Pujols with runners in scoring position. Try to get more guys on in front of Pujols.
Pujols slowly bringing his average up. He's in the mid-240s.
Got a piece of it, and it's back to the screen. The Phillies lost to the Dodgers 8-3. The Dodgers swept the Phillies in Philadelphia in a 4-game series. Aaron Harang beating Cole Hamels.
Second straight loss for Hamels.
We've talked about the Mets beating the Nationals 3-1, and R.A. Dickey is now 9-1. Chien-Ming Wang tasted defeat. He is 1-2.
Why don't you just start the All-Star game with Dickey and close it with Aroldis Chapman? That's it. It's a pretty good contrast.
And he got him. Well, Constanza is down on strikes. We got another lefty bat with Bourne coming up. You can follow the Fish with the MLB.com @Bat12 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Windows Mobile. Live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text @Bat to 31826 or visit Marlins.com. Bourne has walked and singled. He singled in front of Martin Prado, who homered. And that really was the game-changing swing in this ballgame. Burley was cruising. He had retired 10 in a row. He had 2 outs in the 6th. Bourne singled. He had a liner over Burley's head into center field. And then Prado got his bat around on an inside fastball and he yanked it out down the left field line. And it went from 1-0 Marlins to 2-1 Braves. Hayward has added a solo shot. 0-1 on Bourne. Be interesting to see if the Braves sign Michael Bourne to a long-term contract. This is his last year of arbitration before he becomes eligible for free agency.
I'll tell you what, he sure seems like a good fit in their lineup and with their ball club. Not only filling the role as a leadoff man, but a center fielder.
Well, as we talked about earlier in the telecast, he's a guy that, you know, he came up with Philadelphia, and even in his first year with Houston, everybody said if he could just figure it out how to get on base at a 350, 360 clip and hit close to 300, the guy's going to steal 55, 60 bases, and Bourne has done that. He's got 3 stolen base titles. He stole 61 bases last year, and that was his 3rd stolen base titles. That was the best in all of the big leagues. He's won 2 Gold Gloves and played on a dynamite Little League team in Humble, Texas.
Yeah, that was
Carl Crawford.
Was a crazy team. Carl Crawford and Michael Bourne.
You think they weren't stealing bases then? Of course, in Little League, you can't leave until the pitch comes across the plate. But
yeah, they still stole. Actually, it was Michael Bourne's dad who coached that team, too. Right now, Ryan Webb getting ready for a possible matchup with Dan Uggla. I still think Choate would stay in to pitch to Prado because you have McCann next.
1-1. And he's gone 2-1 now on the Braves center fielder. The Braves have won 5 of 6. And that comes on the heels of an 8-game losing skid. The Braves were living the high life. But on May 21st, they started a stretch where they lost 8 in a row. Again to center. And again a base hit by Bourne. He's been on base 3 times. He's got a pair of hits. Now, you'd like to have left him in, but you've got Prado in a spot where he can do damage because you've got a runner in scoring position and Bourne behind him with speed. And so I think Ozzy's thinking is here, you can't afford to leave him in to face Prado.
I think with a man at first, he might have had that luxury to leave Choate in the game, but not the case now with a couple of runners on.
3-1 Atlanta. Prado went and did this. A 2-run homer that just snuck out down the left field line. And it changed the game. It made it 2-1 Braves. Jason Hayward added a home run. And here's that guy again, Martin Prado. And now, 1 out in the 8th. Ryan Webb out of the bullpen. He's got Prado, and then you got McCann coming up.
You know, Ryan Webb has done a nice job in some sporadic use. You know, the last time he pitched was in Philadelphia about 6 days ago, and it seems like he's had periods of time where he hasn't had consistent outings, but when he's come in, he's thrown that live heavy sinker in the mid-90s.
Simmons, the runner, out at second base, and Bourne is at first. And Webb testing the 21-year-old rookie out at second. Braves shortstop.
And certainly pretty good speed out there between Simmons and Bourne.
Of course, with Webb, you're thinking ground ball. Gets a strike to open the at-bat. Giants won again, beating the Padres 8-3. The Giants are now 33-25. Since the Marlins left them, the Giants have gotten hot. And since the Marlins left them, the Padres have not. 19-39 are the Padres.
Melky Cabrera only had 1 hit. Ryan Theriot had 4. He was 4 for 5.
San Diego's 20 under. Going 2 to Prado. Breaking ball lined into center field. That's a base hit. Here comes Simmons, and he's going to score. Ruggiano's throw, a strong one. Bourne holds at second, but Prado has now driven in 3 of the 4 Atlanta runs.
Boy, he is just a tough out. You put guys like Prado, Infante, Polanco with the Phillies. They're just tough guys to get out. Every once in a while they'll hit one out. We saw Prado do that. Big base hit there.
Polanco hit one out the other night. McCann 0 for 3, and he calls time.
Now all the moves you make, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but it throws a whole new look into it. The fact that Prado got that base hit.
Webb facing McCann. The count is 1-0.
An inning such as this one is one that the Marlins haven't been able to put together.
It's good for concessions, but not so good on a manager, a pitching coach, especially after watching Mark Burley sail through the first 6 innings of this ball game.
Now Ryan Webb better pause and take a look at Bourne, because he almost took off. He was timing Webb. Now he has to pause and at least give him one look at second base.
Two and 1. Webb right now is falling behind Brian McCann, 3 and 1.
And if he doesn't throw him a strike here, all of a sudden the bases are going to be loaded for Dan Uggla. So you know McCann is looking for that fastball, that two-seamer out over the plate. Marlins looking for a double play ball.
McCann got it, and he drills it. Right center deep. Ruggiano back at the track. Makes the catch. Both runners tag. Prado will stop, though. A strong throw from Ruggiano. Bourne gets to third. Runners at the corners.
I think Ruggiano showed everybody the kind of throwing arm he has. He has a strong arm.
So here is Uggla. It's 4-1 Atlanta. The Braves got 2 in the 6th. Single run in the 7th. Another run here in the 8th.
hate when I get knots like that.
Uglin 0 for 3 night with a couple of strikeouts. Well, McCann hit that ball a long way. Uglin takes a strike. Oh, 1. Misses away. Marlins will have Stanton, Ruggiano, Morrison in the 8th. Of course, Freddie Gonzalez can lean on that really good bullpen. He's already had Durbin and Venters pitch a couple scoreless innings. Of course, he's got Craig Kimbrell if indeed he needs him in a save situation for the 9th.
And all Kimbrell has done this year is save 17 out of 18.
Prado and Bourne at the corners. And 2.
Wow, that 94-mile-an-hour fastball had a good part of the plate. I guess Field and Cobra thought it was low.
Let's see what he gets. 2-2. Prado's running. Breaking ball. Strike 3 call. Down goes Uglin. Marlins give up another and trail at 4-1.
Report will look at Burley's night. Also look at the Braves long balls, hitting a couple of big homers in this game, and we'll set you up for the Rays series, which starts tomorrow, 3 games right here at Marlins Park. From the set in center field, we go back out to Rich and Tommy.
All right, thank you, Craig. Eric O'Flaherty takes over for Johnny Venters. It's been Durbin, Venters, and now O'Flaherty since Mike Minor turned in 5 innings through 103 pitches. Was not sharp, but the Marlins got just 1 run off him.
And again, stands to pick up a win if the Braves hold this lead.
That's amazing.
It's incredible.
Giancarlo Stanton, Justin Ruggiano, and Logan Morrison here in the 8th. O'Flaherty's fastball catches the outside corner. A ball and a strike. That one whistles away. O'Flaherty, born in one of Tommy's favorite towns, Walla Walla, Washington. And the Braves picked O'Flaherty off of waivers from Seattle. That ball's driven to right, down into the corner. It's deep, and it's, I think, gone, or is it a fair ball? Did it hit the top of the wall and then kick back in? The Marlins say home run. Stanton is standing at second, and you may get a replay on this one. Ozzie Guillen has come out. The ball took a funny hop at the very top of the wall, right where the foul pole is. And Guillen's going to come out and talk to both Adrian Johnson and Gary Cedarstrip.
There's the area where we'll be looking and where the umpires will be discussing. See what kind of a look we get from the replay.
That's a home run, it looks like, just from that look.
It looked like it hits on the backside.
Yes, home run.
It hits on the other side, yeah.
Yeah, it hits the foul pole.
That's a home run, so once they go in and look at it, they'll be able to see that on the replay. It doesn't hit the yellow line and then bounce back in. It hits on the other side of that.
So Stan has to stand at second. The umpires are in taking a look.
And if it is, we don't want to get the cart ahead of the horse. It would be number 14 for Giancarlo.
You see where the yellow line is? It's behind the wall. It's not part of the wall. And the ball actually ricochets off that.
Right
yellow,
in there.
Yep, off the yellow and then off the screen and then kicks up. And so for Giancarlo Stanton, by all...
Right in this area is where it hits and then kicks back into the field.
By all indications, Giancarlo has hit his 14th homer. And it is a home run, as expected.
So it didn't take too long. The umpires, once they reviewed it, and Stanton continues his circling of the bases. And it's interesting, that's his first home run to right field this year. He's hit 8 to left, 5 to center, and his first one to right field.
That's got to be an interesting feel for a hitter. I mean, he sprints to second like it's a double, and then once the replay comes 3 minutes later, he gets to do half a home run trot.
And didn't that happen last year in Atlanta with McCann?
Well, that was a game winner.
That was a game winner.
and the Marlins...
I'm sorry I brought that up. But
the Marlins and both television crews knew it was a game winner, and all it needed was a quick review. And Tim McClellan, I think, was the umpire that came out, gave the home run sign. 4-2, so the Marlins are down by a couple. Here's Ruggiano. And he rifles one over the head of the third baseman, Prado. Into the corner it goes. Ruggiano to second with a double. Well, he's had a nice night. He's walked twice. He lined out to center, and now he doubles to left.
Well, a couple of guys tonight in Donovan Solano and Justin Ruggiano are saying, I belong here. I'm having good at-bats, and I can help this team.
Logan Morrison now. Twice he has lined out to right, and he has struck out. He fouls that one off his foot. It counts 0-1.
Yeah, it's been frustrating the last couple of ABs for Logan Morrison. He's hit the ball really well. to right field.
The home run by Giancarlo Stanton, a double by Justin Ruggiano. Hanging breaking ball and a hanging pop-up. Prado. And there's one out. Remember the Marlins, when they brought Greg Dobbs in as a pinch hitter, kept him in the ball game and kept him in left field. And so here is Donnie Murphy in the pitcher spot. Solano left the game with a couple of doubles. He was 2 for 3.
Interesting tonight, the Marlins have 7 hits. 6 of the hits have been extra base hits. 4 doubles, a couple of home runs.
And yet they have just 2 runs. 2 solo homers, Reyes and Stanton. O'Flaherty to the plate, and Murphy pokes it foul down the first baseline. Edward Mujica, as the Marlins have pinch hit for the pitcher spot here with Murphy. Well, you would have liked to have seen the Marlins at the very least have moved Ruggiano to third base with nobody out.
And with a left-handed batter up there and Logan Morrison, who's pulled the ball the last couple of times up, that was not a very good at bat. That's why it was a frustrating at bat. I know it's not a run that's going to tie the game, but at this point, it's a very important run.
Brett Hayes is on deck. O'Flaherty the third out of the Atlanta pen. Murphy takes down low, and it counts 1-2.
Get that runner to third. Worst case scenario, you get him in. It's a 1-run game when you go to the 9th inning.
And you're going to get Kimbrel in the 9th.
Frustrating night for Lomo.
Called strike 3. Murphy doesn't like the call. I don't think Ozzie liked it either.
Well, he didn't swing.
Was it a called strike?
I'm not sure if he called it on the swing or the pitch.
Had to be on the swing, because that's way out of the zone, isn't it?
It wasn't on the swing.
Well, you know what? Fox Tracks has it at the knees.
Wow.
And so I think it was a called strike 3. So it's up to Brett Hayes to chase home Ruggiano. You've got Dobbs on deck. Hayes doubled in the second. Again getting into it with fielding Colbreth. Here's the 1-1. Hayes fouls it back to the screen. Here's Fox Tracks. Pitch 2 was right down the middle. I know Hayes reacted and backed off.
You know, a lot of times a manager is going to react to his hitter.
That's all he can do, because the view that you have at home is a lot better than the view a manager or anybody on that bench has. And Hayes swings and misses. The Marlins waste that double by Ruggiano. Stanton homers, but it's 4-2 Atlanta going to the 9th. Home run down the right field line. A home run that was under review. First called a double, then ruled a home run. However, the Marlins' offensive woes continue. They're down 4-2. They had a double by Ruggiano with nobody out. They were unable to even budge him off of second base. And now Edward Mujica gets the ball. He takes over for Ryan Webb. And Mujica will try to keep it at a 2-run game in the ninth against an Atlanta team that is picking up steam right now.
And it looks like the pitcher spot in this spot in the order for the Braves. Pinch hitter's going to be David Ross.
David Ross, good player.
Good backup catcher.
And Ross had been banged up. When McCann went down with that bruised knee, he took a fastball when he got crossed up on a sign. Ross had been nursing a leg injury himself. Ross, one of the few backup catchers who will get a multi-year contract. He's at the back end of a multi-year deal. That's how much the Braves think of him, the 35-year-old.
I think calls a good game. He has some pop in his bat. He had a year in 06 with Cincinnati when he was a catcher on a little more of a regular basis. He hit 21 home runs.
He was a teammate that year of Jeff Konak. Speaking of backup catchers, Ross sends that one to center field, and Ruggiano runs it down. One of our favorite backup catchers had a nice ball game today, and the Dodgers 4-game sweep of the Phillies complete.
Let me guess, would that be Matt Trainer?
You want to know what Matt Trainer is hitting this year? An even 300. Trainer was 2 for 4 and drove in a run. Cassie Allen, our floor director, always a big fan of Matt Trainer's, and we are too. There's Cassie. Like it. In fact, it's her affection for Trainer that has drawn her to check box scores every morning now. That one fouled off. You want to see an impressive home run? This is an impressive home run.
Yeah, when you're big and strong and get some good extension the way Hayward did on that pitch out over the plate, and you're big and strong, you can hit one out to center field.
Oh, he hit another one out there deep. Ruggiano back at the wall. He did it again.
Wow.
2 home runs to dead center field in a park that does not give up many home runs in that area.
That was impressive. I think that's the first one we've seen hit in that area. Near center field in those seats. Boy, he reached out and got a pitch that was away. Man, he hit that a ton.
There's Hinsky now. So it's back to a 3-run lead.
Just like that. Second multi-homer game for Hayward this year. He hit a couple against the Cubs. No, second in his career, excuse me. I would have guessed this year. It's only his second time in his career he's hit 2 in a game.
Well, Hayward, who had the sophomore slump last year with 2 home runs in this ball game, now has 8 on the season. He's driven in 28. Hinsky, who saw his streak of reaching the postseason end last year. Amazingly, the Braves had that 8.5 game lead evaporate from September 5th on. They won 89 games.
Boy, the 5 home runs combined tonight. The most home runs hit by both teams in a game this year here at Marlins Park.
Reyes and Stanton have homered for the Fish. Prado and a pair of Jason Hayward homers for Atlanta.
I think Freddie Gonzalez will tell you he likes this park. So will Jason Hayward.
Mujica walks Hinsky, and the Braves have Hinsky aboard, and here comes Simmons. Well, this was a night, if you're the Marlins and you lost the first 2 games of this series, you were going up against Mike Minor, and he had been the weak link in the Braves rotation. His ERA was almost 6.98, and he was unsteady through 5 innings, but the Marlins couldn't get to him.
Well, we told you his last win was April 19th against the Dodgers. And there's another base hit by Andrelton Simmons. Since that win that Minor put together on April 19th, he'd gone 0-3 with an ERA over 9 in 7 starts.
It's a cruel game because the Marlins were flying high when they arrived home for this 9-game homestand. Tied for first place in the National League East. They've just taken 2 of 3 in Philly. Ozzie Guillen is on his way out to the mound. Dan Jennings just got up and is loosening up. Thus, Ozzie is going to take his time. 5-2. Braves on top. But you can go from just 2-3 days ago feeling like you're on top of the world, like your ball club has momentum, and then you run into the Braves.
This is one of those moves where Ozzie's just waiting for Field and Colbert to come out there.
Well, I think he wanted to wait long enough because Jennings just got up, and he wanted to give Jennings at least 3 or 4 more bullpen throws before he came out. And here comes Jennings in a 5-2 game. A 1-0 lead, and ever since, the Braves got 2 in the 6th, single runs in the 7th and the 8th, and another here in the 9th on another long home run off the bat of Jason Hayward. And Ozzie again doesn't want to see any more damage, so he lifts Mujica. Mojica faces the 4 hitters here in the 9th. Jennings to face Constanza.
Well, you figure with the number of pitches that Jennings was able to throw in the bullpen, and then his allotted number to warm up, he's probably thrown about 20 pitches or more, and most relievers can get ready on that amount.
Hey! 2-0 is a strike, and it's 2-1.
Jennings had actually been up a little before, too. So it didn't take him too long.
In the hole, Reyes. Infante's turn. Constanza runs well. He's safe at first.
Yeah, no chance for double play there the way Constanza runs. Even though Infante gives it a great effort, just misses getting it. Gives you an idea how quickly Infante turns to double play.
So Jennings now will face another lefty and Michael Bourne.
So far it's been a nice early reviews for Dan Jennings. He's done a good job in situations that he's been called on. Comes in, throws strikes for the most part, fastballs and sliders. This is 6th appearance.
Since being called back up, he has not given up an earned run. And he got a win in the big leagues as well. That was on May 25th.
That was the day he was called up
against the Giants.
He got here about 30 minutes before the game.
Bourne couldn't check his swing on the 2-0. He was geared for a fastball.
He got the fastball, but it was way out of the zone.
Certainly not the A move with Constanza over there at first.
Wouldn't be surprised to see Constanza take off.
He's 3-1. Got a pair of arms. Christian Martinez and Craig Kimbrell. I think it's Martinez if the Braves add on. And Kimbrell if it's a safe situation, which it is right now. Gets a strike with that fastball. It's 3-2. Well, the Marlins better start scoring soon because they're going to run into a Rays pitching staff, which is very good. They're going to run into the Red Sox, who are vastly improved from their April start.
Looks like they might see Beckett and Buchholz first 2 games of that series.
Bourne to right field. That's deep. Stanton is back, and that ball is gone. I mean, way gone. Michael Bourne, a career-high 6 home runs this year. Already. And it's wide, wide open now. It's 8-2.
Well, he came with that fastball. Bourne got himself in that fastball count. And, boy, for a guy who's a base stealer and who hits a lot of singles, he had a no-doubter. And called it, his career high 6th home run. And never a doubt. It's also his 10th 3-hit game this year.
He hit a total of 4 home runs over the last 2 seasons combined. And so 6 this year. And all but 1 run in this game has been scored on a home run. You'd like to say that as the weather has heated up and it's a lot hotter and a lot more humidity in the area than April for sure, that the ball is starting to travel more.
Yeah, I kind of thought that would happen, and they've been leaving the roof open until about 4:30. And with the heat and humidity coming into the ballpark, and then once it's closed, obviously a lot of that stays here. The ball's really jumping.
Of course, you could say that about the Braves. It hasn't necessarily jumped off the bat of the Marlins in this series. It's 8-2 Atlanta.
Point well taken.
At the time too, Tommy, that a lot of what went into Ozzie Guillen's decision was watching his team the last 2 nights. And instead of saying, I'm going to wait until the 8th or the 9th to use Greg Dobbs, it was, hey, I'm using Dobbs here. He had a runner at second base and 2 outs, down a run, and Burley's coming out. Reyes goes after the first pitch and fouls it out of play.
Yeah, I think you and I saw that whole situation unfold and totally agreed. Many other situations, you wouldn't see that. You'd see Ozzie leave Burley in the game.
Say the Marlins have been scoring runs and maybe had split the first 2 games of the series, and it's a 2-1 game. You're thinking, oh, I'll hang in there with Burley another inning or two and try to get to the Braves later. Well, later has meant more Braves runs since Burley left. Reyes rifles one into right. Dobbs and Reyes open with hits against Christian Martinez. Of course, had the Marlins kept it close, they wouldn't be facing Christian Martinez.
Yeah, right now people at home that aren't watching the Heat game are saying, what's happening? All of a sudden they're getting hits. Well, you're right. It would be Craig Kimbrell in the game and not Christian Martinez. And now Roger McDowell is going to get on that phone again.
And that's as the Braves look like they're going to win this game, but for Freddie Gonzalez, this is not what he wanted to happen here in the 9th inning, and they have to get Kimbrell up again, who's already heated up once.
And by the way, we do appreciate if you are sticking with us.
Well, there's always picture-in-picture, or those of you that have 2 or 3 screens at home.
Got the apps going.
Infante with the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. A 1-for-4 night. He lined to right his last time up. That was a tumbling catch by Hayward.
Marlins fans might remember Christian Martinez a little bit in 2009, appeared in 15 games. We always saw him work, had a nice changeup, and I think he's just developed into a guy who works as that long man out of that Braves bullpen. Got a little more command of his pitches now.
He would be the guy that Freddie would turn to if a starter got ill or needed an emergency start.
Very quiet, nice young guy. Just does his job.
Dobbs at second, Reyes at first. And Infante goes after that changeup that you just described as nice. I think Infante would have a different adjective for it.
Yeah, it would not be the way you described it.
Hanley has walked twice. You have to give Atlanta credit for terrific defense in this series, and even tonight, that 7th inning, a great example. Leadoff walk to Jose Reyes. Infante hit the liner into right center, and Hayward made the lunging catch. And then Hanley hit a ball to the right of Andrelton Simmons, and you thought that's a base hit. Simmons backhanded the ball and turned it into a impressive 6-4-3 double play with a strong turn from Dan Uggla. There's the changeup, and it's 2-0.
And there was that diving catch of Hayward's. So when the Braves have needed an important play, they made it.
Breaking ball, a strike. Giancarlo Stanton is on deck, 1 out, bottom 9. Braves in control here. And Hanley pops into shallow left center. Bourne's on. Simmons is out, and Simmons,
wow,
seemingly giving way to Bourne, and all of a sudden the ball's in his glove.
It almost looked like when he gave way, the ball was going to drop for a base hit. He had the speedster Bourne coming in, but he was playing deep with Hanley, the hitter. And Simmons with a great over-the-shoulder catch. See how deep Bourne is? He's got a long way to go. He's not going to get there. So again, when the Braves have had to make a play, they've made it.
Stanton's home run was not anything like those home runs described in that SI.com article we mentioned. Albert Chen writing it. Nothing memorable. Didn't break anything. Didn't hit it on the golf course or over any trees. It was a simple fly ball down the right field line. Just got over the fence. In fact, it had to be reviewed before it was determined to get out. Normally, there's no doubt.
Let's just put it this way. Giancarlo Stanton does not hit reviewable home runs.
He's got a 2-0 pitch to look at here with 2 outs in the ninth. He didn't get the fastball.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's a 6-run lead. There are 2 men on, and he didn't get a 2-0 fastball.
Well, if you were Christian Martinez, would you throw him a 2-0 fastball?
Yeah, because it's a 6-run game. Finally got the fastball. It was out of the zone.
Yeah, 6-run game, but you don't want those 3 runs on your ERA.
He knows if he gives up a 3-run, Jack Kimbrell's in the game anyway.
I know. So, Tommy, that's the difference. They didn't have arbitration back in the day, did they? Here's a 2-2. Not that he's thinking about it, but, I mean, he's thinking, I don't want to show up on the highlight films as giving up a 500-foot shot. So now he's come back and thrown a couple of fastballs. Let's see if he sticks with it or if he goes back to that changeup. Stanton has struck out twice on off-speed pitches tonight. Changeup. And Stanton went around. Christian Martinez finishes. The Braves have swept the Marlins. And Jason Hayward, a big reason why tonight. Hayward with a couple of mammoth home runs to center field and a terrific catch in right as well. And Atlanta hitting 4 homers, beating the Marlins 8-2, sweeping the Marlins in 3, and heading out of town. Marlins Live, presented by Checkers, is coming up